All right. Well, that gave us actually a official little break. So if you needed a visit to the restroom or any get another drink or anything, you had a couple minutes there. So hopefully that works out for you. We'll do a couple more of those. Anyway, here we go. Top 10 figures from ancient Greece. Top 10 figures from ancient Greece. Yeah, a couple of these are going to be a little hard too. Pay attention to the clues. Now, this lady was born in Miletus, not Athens, but she became one of the most influential women in Athens. The year was 470 to 410 BC. She was associated with some of the greatest minds of her time. What she's most known for, she ran a salon where philosophers and politicians debated ideas. Not a hair salon, a philosophical salon. She was criticized and admired for her role in Athenian politics. Well, Alex is here. Hey, they turned the internet back on in Russia, huh? What's going on, man? They turned the internet off on you? Anyway, this is the lifelong companion of Pericles, if that helps. She was a companion of Pericles. She ran the salon where all the philosophers used to hang out in Athens. Anybody know who this is? Famous Greek lady. Hey, what's going on, man? Anyway, her name is Aspasia. Aspasia, pretty lady. Aspasia. There you go. You don't remember that, huh? We've done all these a few times, but, I understand. You don't remember everything. All right, this is a fairly famous Greek gentleman, ancient Greek. And if you listen to the clues, you might get it. Now, he founded a secretive religious mathematical brotherhood. A religious mathematical brotherhood. He believed numbers were the essence of all things. He forbade his followers from eating beans. Seriously. He didn't like that. His theorem is still taught in high schools worldwide. There you go. Doctor. Doctor. I don't know about that spelling exactly, but Oh, there you go. No, that is pretty close spelling actually. That's it. I think that second time. The second time is it. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, of course. This is the guy. You are correct. This is Mr. Pythagoras. Pythagoras. 570 to 495 BC. Some of his followers worship numbers like gods and believe the universe sang, "Welcome to the original math cult." He ran a math cult. Pythagoras. Yes. He doesn't look that smart. I don't know. Something in the eyes. All right, here's another famous ancient Greek guy. Now, this is the one who wrote over 90 plays. As you remember, the ancient Greeks were the ones who started the whole theater thing. Only 18 of the plays are around today. We can't find the rest of them. They probably weren't that good. He preferred flawed, psychologically complex characters. His work often challenged the gods and social norms. He's known for Medea. I don't think the movie Medea. The Bacchae, and Hippolytus, one of the three great tragedians of Athens. Gotta say that three times. Tragedians of Athens. So he wrote tragedies. Who's the most famous Greek tragedy play guy? Not Shakespeare. Although I like that, Doctor. You were working it into a Greek version of Shakespeare. This is not Shakespeare. This is a Greek guy. This is way before Shakespeare. This is who Shakespeare wishes he was like. He liked flawed characters. Anybody know? Euripides. Euripides. That's not familiar. Athenians often booed at his plays. There you go. I guess it was just, you go to the theater, you get, you're allowed to boo, I guess. All right, here's another famous Greek guy, number 7. This guy was the leader during Athens' golden age. This is 495 to 429 BC. He strengthened democracy and expanded the empire. He oversaw massive construction, including the Parthenon. So this guy was in charge when they built the Parthenon. And he delivered a famous speech called the funeral oration. I don't know if that was Socrates' funeral. I'm not sure. His era is named after him. His era is named after him. How about that? This sounds like an important guy. He was the leader when they built the Parthenon. There's the Parthenon in the background. He's leading building. Oh, he's doing the oration at the funeral. Oh, anybody know? It's a famous Greek guy. I can tell you that. How about Pericles? Pericles. I thought he was just a myth. No, he's not a myth. Pericles had such a long head. He always wore a helmet in statues, either out of modesty or to cover the ancient version of a weird hair problem. That's interesting. Wonder how the robots knew about that. Anyway, okay. Let's do another famous Greek guy. Ancient Grecian. Now, this guy traveled the ancient world collecting stories. So he's a story writer. His writings are a blend of fact, legend, and hearsay. He wrote about the Greco-Persian Wars in detail. Not Dorian, not Aesop. The original writer guy, before all those guys. Sometimes doubted, but endlessly quoted. Now here's the key. Here's the key clue. Ready? Not Homer. Homer's a good guess, but not Homer. This guy is the father of history. Who's the father of history? Anybody know? Father of history. Simpson. How about Herodotus? Herodotus is the father of history. That's not familiar to anybody. Right? No? Guess not. Herodotus loved a good tall tale. His histories included gold digging, ants, and flying snakes. There he is telling about flying snakes. Herodotus. Yeah. All right, I bet you know the next guy. I bet you know him. Number 5. Top 5. Now, this gentleman trained as a Spartan warrior since childhood. He led a small force at a narrow mountain pass. He became a symbol of heroic last stands. He died fighting overwhelming Persian forces at Thermopylae. Battle of Thermopylae. Who remembers the movie? What's the famous movie he's in? He famously told his men, "Eat well, for tonight we dine in Hades." There you go, Doctor. And you're kind of right, Alex. He's definitely a Spartan. Leonidas the first is correct, 480 BC. Thanks to Hollywood, Leonidas shouts, "This is Sparta!" Kicks the guy down the hole. Forever in meme history, even though probably he never actually said that. That's disappointing. This is Sparta! I don't know. Didn't look like such a bad guy. Top four Greeks. You guys ready? I bet you know them all. Let's just see if you can get them though. Now, this is a very famous Greek guy. He founded a school that lasted over 900 years. Obviously, he didn't last 900 years. He was the student of another famous man, and he was the teacher of another famous man. He wrote dialogues featuring Socrates as a central figure. So he wrote about Socrates. He obsessed with ideal forms and the nature of reality. There you go, Doctor. He is possibly the most famous philosopher. What do you guys think? He is the founder of something called the Academy. The Academy. And you are correct, Doctor. This is Mr. Plato, or Plato if you prefer. 428 to 348 BC. And Plato may not even be his real name. It means broad, possibly a nod to his shoulders or his big ideas. So Plato wasn't his real name. Now that's disappointing. I didn't need to know that. Yeah, Plato's Retreat. That's a famous place. You ever been there, Doctor? All right. Let's do the top three. Top three. Now, this gentleman wrote on everything from logic to biology. Prolific. And he is the tutor of a future world conqueror. He opened a school called the Lyceum. 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 His works dominated medieval science for centuries. So this was the guy through the whole Middle Ages. This is who they based all their science on. Yes, you got it, Doctor. You know the Greeks. You know all your famous philosophers and scientists. Well, you are a doctor, so you got that going for you. Yes, you're correct. Aristotle. This is Mr. Aristotle. Aristotle invented so many disciplines that if he were around today, he'd probably have his own university. Or he'd be banned from Wikipedia for over-editing. I guess that's a joke. I don't know. Aristotle. There it is. That means we've only got two left. Two famous Greek guys left. All right. Never been to Plato's Retreat, huh? Yeah, I don't think I've been there either. Not that I remember. Seems like a place you'd remember if you went. All right, number 2. He never wrote anything down himself. He never wrote anything. He was famous for asking endless questions. Now, this is the guy that was put on trial for corrupting the youth of Athens. A bad man. A bad man. He ended up drinking poison rather than the other option they gave him. It was to flee in exile. And he said, no, I'll drink the poison. Yes. 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 You are correct. Hemlock. He is considered the father of Western philosophy. And you are correct. It is Mr. Socrates. He's the one who taught Plato, right? Yeah. Socrates. Socrates annoyed so many people with his questions that Athens sentenced him to death. It wasn't the corrupting the youth of Athens. Might have been that. Making him history's most famous victim of too much critical thinking. There he is. Socrates. Asking too many questions. Well, that leaves our most famous Greek gentleman, Macedonian to be precise. This gentleman became king at the age of 20. And he was dead by the time he was 32. He never lost a battle in his entire military career. 100-0. He created an empire stretching from Greece to India. And he was tutored by Aristotle. This is the guy that was tutored by Aristotle. He is one of the most legendary conquerors in world history. And our number one Greek. Our number one ancient Greek. Iskander, no. Oh, yeah, I guess. Anyway, we all know this is Mr. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, of course. King at 20, dead at 22. When asked if he wanted to name his successor, Alexander allegedly said, "To the strongest." I don't know what this means. That went well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's what I thought you. I thought you were saying something like that. There you go, Alexander. All right. Well, we did the Greeks. I don't know. You didn't do much better on the Greeks than you did on the Egyptians. Maybe a little. There I am. All right. Well, note the custom music to each of those. In theory, the music is supposed to go with the historical event. All right. Let's do top 10 figures from ancient Rome now. Now, these are more infamous characters from ancient Rome. Okay. Here we go. Number 10. Although some are just famous. I don't know. Listen to the clues. This gentleman was born in Arpinium. far from Rome's traditional elite. But he did rise to prominence as a lawyer and an orator. He championed the Republic during its collapse. He opposed Mark Antony, and he paid dearly for it. His speeches and letters still influence political thought. So this was all going on, right at the end of the Republic, right when Julius Caesar got killed, all that stuff was going on. Doctor, you're actually very close, Doctor. Script Pro. Isn't that the Charles Bronson character, or no? No. You are very close. The lawyer, he wrote about the fall of the Republic. He was trying to save the Republic. And you're very close. His name is Cicero. Cicero. That sound familiar? Cicero severed hands and tongue were nailed to the Senate door. Nice. I guess Mark Antony didn't like what he had to say. Number 9. With that, let's move on. All right, I think you know this guy. He fought to become sole emperor after years of civil war. Now, let me give you the years. 272 to 337 AD, CE. So now this isn't BC now, this is long after that last deal. He legalized Christianity with an Edict of Milan, the Edict of Milan. He founded a new capital city on the Bosphorus. He is the first Christian Roman emperor. No, not Caesar. There you go, Doctor. Very good. And do you know what? They call this guy the Great. I think he had a son that was later Constantine. I'm not sure. This is Constantine the Great. Constantine's new capital, which was obviously Constantinople, Istanbul, stood for over 1,100 years. So, nice job rebranding the Roman Empire. Constantine the Great. There he is. He's a happy guy. I would be too. If I was emperor. All right. This lady's infamous in Roman lore. 15 to 59 AD. So right after the fall of the Republic, start of the empire. She's the daughter of a general, the niece of an emperor, and she was married to an emperor, and a mother to another emperor. She married her uncle to consolidate power. Now, she is fiercely ambitious. She ruled behind the scenes. And her son grew increasingly paranoid and eventually had her killed, her own son. This one's the mother of Nero. This is Nero's mom, and Nero's the one who killed her. Who remembers that lady's name? Anne Boleyn. Very good. Same story, right? Famous Roman. Married her uncle. Was killed by her son. She was a schemer. And she paid for it. Anybody remember who this is? She's one of these, younger elder people. She is a younger. Blank the Younger. There she is. Look at her. She's devious. Agrippina the Younger. Agrippina the Younger. All right, learn something every day on Dave's After Dark. After you have a couple shots, start learning. All right, another famous Roman, not an emperor. This gentleman rose from humble origins in northern Italy. He was patronized by Augustus to write a national epic. So Augustus, the first, emperor of the empire, number one emperor, hired him to write a story. He wrote the Aeneid. I don't know how you pronounce that. Aeneid. Aeneid, linking Rome to the Trojan myth. It took 10 years to write, and he wanted it burned. He was considered Rome's greatest poet. All right, there it is. Rome. Who was Rome's greatest poet? There's the key clip. Anybody know? There he is. Looks just like him. These are accurate. Fortunately, with a lot of these things, they know what they look like nowadays. It's pretty cool. That's him. Even though we don't have photographic evidence. Anybody remember the greatest poet of Rome? How about Virgil? That sound familiar to anybody? Virgil. Virgil's dying wish was to destroy the story he wrote. Luckily, Augustus ignored him. There you go. All right. We're down to number 6. The 6th most famous or infamous person from the Roman Empire. Oh, you had it, Doctor. Very good. Slow internet. We're dealing with, we deal with it. Part of the game. All right, you know who this is. This is the guy who conquered Gaul and wrote about it in third person. Yeah, you are correct, Doctor. This is the guy who crossed the Rubicon to start the Civil War. He was declared dictator for life. Or he declared himself dictator for life, which was a bad idea, because that meant his life wasn't going to last too long. He was assassinated by senators on the Ides of March. He famously said, "Et tu, Brute." I guess what's that mean? What it means? Sup, Brutus. Sup, Brutus. Correct. Yes. This is Mr. Julius Caesar. 100 to 44 BC. The end of the Republic. Caesar had to borrow a ton of money to get into politics, proving even world domination sometimes starts with a sketchy loan. All right, we're moving on. You know this guy, he's an emperor. And he did become emperor at the age of 17. But the power went straight to his head. He blamed Christians for a massive fire in Rome. He looks a lot like Gavin Newsom, too. Coincidentally. He's known for cruelty, paranoia, and artistic delusion. He allegedly performed theater while Rome burned. I thought he played the fiddle. Didn't they say he played the fiddle while Rome burned? I think so. He actually committed suicide, famously saying, "What an artist dies in me." I didn't know he committed suicide. There you go. This is the guy who fiddled while Rome burned. This is the guy who killed his own mom. Who knows who this is? This is the guy that looks like Gavin Newsom, who also fiddled while LA burned. Okay, I'm getting too political. Back it up. This, of course, is Nero. There he is, Nero. Yeah, not a happy guy. Not happy at all. All right. Let's move on. Let's do the top 4. Now, we've talked about this guy a little bit already. He was born with the name Gaius Octavius, and he was adopted by Julius Caesar. I don't know if you remember that whole system of, because the emperor's kids weren't always the greatest, so they adopted lots of promising boys so that one of them could become the emperor later. He defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra at Actium. This is the guy who, with the boats and everything at Actium. Yeah. He reshaped Rome's government without calling himself king. Yeah. You got it. Dog. He launched the Pax Romana, 200 years of relative peace. So, with Augustus was the start of the empire, and 200 years of relative peace. Relative, of course. He is the first emperor of Rome. First emperor of Rome. And you are correct. This is Mr. Augustus. Gaius Octavius Augustus. Yes. Augustus claimed he found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. There you go, Mr. Augustus. Yeah, successful. All right, top 3 Romans. Let's do them. Top 3 Romans. Oh, no, this was one of the bad emperors. Might have been just before Nero. Can't remember. He was nicknamed Little Boots as a child by the soldiers. He began his reign popular, but it quickly unraveled. This is the guy who made his horse a priest. Yes. This is the guy who they made the X-rated movie about. You guys see that movie? Speaking of Plato's Retreat. Speaking of Plato's Retreat. He's known for cruelty, lavish spending, and instability. And he was assassinated by his own guards. So, nobody liked him. Nobody liked him. Yep. This is Caligula. I forget. I'm trying to think how old I was. I was like 19 or 20 years old when that movie came out in college. And we certainly went to see that movie. 19 or 20. All right. Number 2 with a bullet. You know this guy. He's the good emperor. This is the good emperor. This guy. He's the philosopher king with a stoic worldview. He spent much of his reign at war on the frontiers, up in Germany. His book, Meditations, was never meant for publication. He is known as the last of the 5 good emperors. Now this is after the little run of bad emperors. And this guy was born in 121 and died in 180 AD. He ruled with wisdom and restraint. Wisdom? Who's the wisdom and restraint? The Stoic worldview guy. Yes, Doctor. Of course. There's only one good emperor. Although it says the last of the 5 good emperors. I guess there were a few other ones, right? Like Hadrian. Who else? A few other ones, right? Not many. Marcus Aurelius is correct. Marcus Aurelius' personal journal became a bestseller 2,000 years later. Talk about timeless content. There he is, Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius. All right, now this last one's pretty interesting. So it's not an emperor, but a famous Roman nonetheless. I guess he actually wasn't Roman, but he was in Rome. He was originally a soldier, and then he became a gladiator. And this is the guy who escaped with 70 men and sparked a massive rebellion of the gladiators. And he defeated Roman legions with a slave army. He fought bravely, but was ultimately cornered and killed. So it didn't end well. The rebellion didn't end well. Never does against the Romans. Never does. Never ends well. He became a symbol of resistance and freedom. Yeah. Doctor! You know you're Romans. He's not a Roman, but Roman figure. Yeah, Alex. And he was played by Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas' his father. Spartacus has inspired books, films, and a certain scene where everyone suddenly claims to be him. I am Spartacus. There he is. Spartacus. All right. Those are the Romans. They did pretty good. All right.